Hello everyone, I am Shanine Marie de Bulusan and I am going to discuss the basic postulates of justice. So, first is truth. So, we all know that truth is the property of being in accord with fact or reality. In everyday language, truth is typically ascribed to things that aim to represent reality. And the second one is uniform values. A uniform values of both problem is obtained by introducing the notions of a truth values. The third one is equality before law, or also known as isonomy. The basic principle recognizes that all individuals should be treated in exactly the same manner by the law, while all persons should be subject to the same laws. And next is liberty. Liberty is kind of freedom, whether it's freedom from tyranny, freedom from confinement, or simply the freedom of choice. And next is impartiality. Impartiality is the quality of not being biased or prejudiced, and being impartial means that you are not taking sides and you're open and you treat everyone fairly and you're not biased towards any particular persons or argument, and you place importance on equality and you never discriminate. And next is respect of individuals' ability and capability. So we should respect everyone's ability and capability, and we should focus directly on the quality of life and individuals are actually able to achieve. And next is protective discrimination is not injustice. The policy of granting special privileges to the downtrodden and the underprivileged sections of society, most commonly women. And next is provision of rights, or refers to sharing and distribution, and it includes the right to possess, receive, or have access to certain resources and services. And last is fulfillment of basic needs, requirement for quality of life and social well-being. If need stays unfulfilled, then a feeling of a lack or deficit arises, which has negative consequences for individuals and society. So now let's proceed to kinds of justice and dimensions of justice. So legal dimensions of justice. So this is the narrow concept of justice and associated with the legal system and the legal procedure existing in the society. So the court of law interpret the law and apply the law after hearing the parties involved in a dispute. Here, justice is what is administered by the court of law, and the interpretation of the judge is considered as an embodiment of justice. So, justice in the legal sense requires the following conditions. So, letter A, just and reasonable non-discriminatory laws. So, example, you does not and shall not discriminate on the basis of race, color, religion, gender expression, age, national origin, disability, and marital status. And letter B is the administration of justice by free and independent courts. So, without rule of law and independent and impartial judges, there would be a provision in the functioning of the state. An independent judiciary is therefore essential for the upholding of the rule of law and ensuring an effective and accountable political structure. Then, letter C, inexpensive judicial process. So, for example, the judiciary process of the Philippines consists of the Supreme Court, which is established in the Constitution, and three levels of lower courts, which are established through the law by the Congress of the Philippines. And letter D, court procedure should be simplified and avoid delay in justice. It means that if legal redress or equitable relief to an injured is available, but it is not for those who are timely fashion, and it is effective at the same time as having no remedy. And letter E, there should be a rule of law in the country. So it is applied equally and fairly to both of the government and citizens. This means that all people, regardless of their status, race, culture, religion, or any other attribute, should be ruled equally by just laws. So, nobody should be denied of political rights. To provide equal political rights is political justice. So, all peoples have the right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status and state without fear of discrimination or repression, and is tied closely to citizenship status. Following conditions are necessary to ensure political justice. So first is universal adult franchise. Gives the right to vote to all adult citizens, regardless of wealth, income, gender, social status, race, ethnicity, political stance, or any other restriction. And next is right to contest elections. It means a right of action conferred on every candidate to contest the certification of nomination. And next is right to criticize the government. The people always have a right to criticize the dispensation running the administration of the country, being the government. And next is right to form political parties. A citizen has a right to criticize or comment upon the measures undertaken by the government and its functionaries. And next is right to protest. Everyone has the right to associate with others and gather together for a common purpose. And next is right to petition. The right to petition allows citizens to focus government attention on unresolved ills. And next is respect of human rights. Respecting human rights means recognizing the value of each person, ensuring their dignity and safety. Next is protection of the interest of minorities. So minorities require special measures to ensure that they benefit from the same rights as the rest of the populations. And next is political authority should be based on the consent of the people, because when a political authority fails to secure consent or oversteps the boundaries of the natural law, it ceases to be legitimate. Next is democratic system. Is a form of government in which the people have the authority to deliberate and decide legislation. And then special provisions for the protection of the interest of backward classes and backward tribes. Political justice stands for a free and fair participation of people in the political sphere. Universal adult franchise in the expression of political justice as the basis for elections to all levels of the elected government. All liberal democratic countries are based the principle of one man, one vote, one value is faithfully adopted. Political institutions should be representative in character. And then equality of opportunity in getting elected and in holding public offices, freedom of expression and association, and rights to seek redressal of public grievance are the important pillars of political justice. And that's all for my part.